Sh.Arvind Thakur on the podium to share his valuable experience.
Thank you so much for that very generous introduction. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
I think all of you are, as the young Vice Chairman just pointed out, very fortunate to participate in this program. And so first, let me start by congratulating each one of you for having enrolled in the MCA and this MBA program. The interesting thing is that when you look at the current situation, as Dr. Pandey pointed out, every organization is a tech organization today. Alright? So, frankly, there should be no distinction between an MBA and an MCA program. You should really look at converging both these programs because in today's world, every organization is a tech organization. But what I want to talk about a little bit is the exciting times that each one of you are experiencing on two counts. One, of course, is the fact that we have this huge disruption around technology, which is artificial intelligence, which is going to reshape society, world, and everything else. But there are many honorable guests on stage today who are from my industry colleagues who will probably dwell a little bit on that. But the other exciting thing that is happening is the fact that we are living in a time and age where your country is becoming the center of economic activity. Now this is very important. I don't know how many of you know, but between 180 or 1500 years, 2/3 of the economic activity, and how is economic activity measured? It's measured in terms of GDP. Okay, gross domestic product. 2/3 of the economic activity is straddled between the borders of India and China. So 1500 years. And we are beginning to see that come back to full circle again, when we are seeing this economic activity coming back to the east. In our time, most of the economic activity happened in the west, but in your time, it is now coming back into the east. And I think we need to really appreciate this. Now, if you reflect on history, and I'm not talking about the wars and others, I'm talking about the economic history, you would have seen that there were these glorious empires of Nishta, Gupta period, in the south of the Chola period. These were glorious years up to 1400 AD where India dominated. Even China dominated. They had the Han, Tang, Song, and Yuan, these dynasties. And they dominated because of the innovation that they had created in those days. So if you look at India, we led in mathematics, we led in astronomy. The zero was invented in India. The decimal system was invented during this time. Trigonometry, algebra, all these were innovations which took place during this period, which is the reason why this was the golden years of ancient times. This led to innovations in manufacturing. So our textiles were considered the best in the world. Our cotton production, our agriculture production were the best in the world. Metallurgy, copper, iron, construction, these were all innovations done as a result of good knowledge that existed. The Chinese in those days also were right in front because they invented paper, they invented printing, they invented gunpowder, the mechanical clock, the compass, shipbuilding as an industry. So all these were innovations of those times which led to huge amount of economic activity. In fact, in India, even later on during the Mughal period, our economic activity was significant. It actually started disintegrating towards the end during the reign of Aurangzeb because he started bringing in issues like communalism. He started imposing taxes on non-Muslims, which got the people who were supporting him, the Marathas, the Rajputs and everybody else, to rise up against him. And seeing this weakness, what we saw was that the European traders who had established their ports, both in India and China, started taking advantage of this disintegration and disunity in the country, and that led to economic activity with the creation of the East India Company moving out of India into places which were innovating more. And so you had these industrial revolutions, where the steam engine was discovered, electricity was discovered, and people who exploited all these innovations started generating economic activity. And so you started seeing India, which was leading in terms of economic activity and GDP growth, suddenly finding all that wealth moving away to the West. And so in the West, because of, again, innovations, we started seeing economic activity first move to Britain, and it moved from Britain to Europe, and finally to the United States. So I'm giving you this little background so that you can understand and appreciate that for you, for us as a nation, and for you as individuals, we need to focus and apply our minds to activities which drive innovation. So we lost that touch, and so the economic activity moved away from the country to other nations. We started coming back in the 50s when Europe recovered from the world wars, Japan rebuilt itself in its unique fashion, South Korea started rebuilding itself, China joined, opened up. Communism, which was prevalent in that time, didn't allow China to develop. Then they started opening up to the rest of the world. It was followed by India in the 90s, and in India it was led largely by the rise in information technology. In fact, if you look at our generation of professionals, we have seen the country transform in the eyes of the world from a country known to be a country of snake charmers to be an IT powerhouse. And this has happened because of the young people of those times very quickly learning technology and adding value to corporations across the world. So today, the tech industry is about 9% of GDP, contributes to about 45% of our foreign exchange inflows, and we've seen the shift further accelerate in about 2008 when there was the crisis in the Western world, which is probably known as the subprime crisis. Alright, the financial systems globally collapsed, and that is when the developed world took on the mantle of driving economic growth. And this continued even through the COVID crisis, because in COVID, we suddenly realized that all of us were locked indoors, and the only way to do any kind of economic activity was to use technology. And that actually has forced, as I mentioned earlier, all organizations now to become tech organizations. So today, India is, as you all know, the fourth largest economy, likely to become the third largest very soon, next to only China. So we have come back full circle, where now India and China are going to dominate the world of economics. And so you're very fortunate to be starting this next phase of your careers at a time when there is so much opportunity which is available for each one of you. Important, of course, for us is to embrace the culture of innovation. And currently, we are on the cusp of an innovation which is shaking the whole world. And that is around artificial intelligence. Now, AI as a subject has been around for many years. But why has it suddenly become commonplace? It has become common because three forces have actually come together for the first time. Number one is the availability of affordable high-power computing. Okay. Number two is access to large amounts of data. Huge amount of data being generated, sensors, on your phones, here, there, everywhere else. And number three, algorithms which are able to access that data and learn from it. And learn just like we learn. Alright? Except that learning is permanent. We tend to forget. Machines don't forget. And we were just discussing, when will it be that machines are going to have intelligence which is going to exceed our own, and that time is not too far off. 2 years ago, I would imagine it would be 2050, but today, I think by 2030, you will have machines which will have intelligence which is going to be superior than ours. And that's called super intelligence. And why is that so? It is because our intelligence is locked in our own minds. Okay? So whatever you learn is in your own head. To the extent that, like I'm sharing with you, you can understand and grasp a little bit of my knowledge and intelligence. But for the machine, entire intelligence is available at one place. All your minds are together. So can you imagine how powerful that entity is, which has the intelligence of everybody combined and is learning continuously and is not forgetting. So that is going to dramatically change everybody's lives. Now, one thing that we must all know, and I think we all know, is that there is no AI without data. No data? No AI, because AI learns from data. So fundamentals of understanding data science, mathematics, equations, logic, etc. are going to be very basic in your learning. So if you don't like maths, you better start liking it because that's going to be very basic for your life in future. But I must also tell you one thing. What you learn gets obsolete very fast. Today the half-life of skills is reducing very dramatically. What you learn, you can use very, in fact, when you have MCA and MBA programs, chances are what you learn when you start your program may become obsolete by the time you end your program. So what we all need to understand is that learning is going to be continuous. Your degree over here is not the end of your learning process. It's lifelong learning that you need to be very, very comfortable with. Very often I find that, when you learn a certain subject, you want to hang on to it. And people find it very difficult to let go to learn something new because, it took some time and energy to learn it. And now I have to abandon all that and learn something new. That is something that you need to get very, very comfortable with. But last but not the least, what I want to emphasize is that as machines get more and more powerful, of course, in your life, you will need to coexist with machines, but you will find over a period of time, machines will be taking up more and more of the things that we do. So far, we believe that machines are good at repetitive tasks. And so repetitive tasks are getting automated. But now, we are seeing machines are becoming and learning like humans and even becoming good at creative tasks. And they're taking over roles which earlier human beings were good at, which is creative tasks. So, what do you need to do and what do you need to guard against is something that's very important. What you need to do, and I think that is what Dr. Pandey also was alluding to, was that while there are subjects that you will be learning in your program, and then the exams that you will be passing, those subjects and exams might get obsolete very fast. But therefore, you need to focus on other aspects to build yourself individually. And that is aspects associated with people. What are those aspects associated with people? One of them pointed out was creativity. Okay, but as I mentioned, even that is now beginning to get taken over by machines. The other is critical thinking. That is the ability to look at a problem from multiple perspectives and arrive at a solution. Emotional intelligence. Machines are not yet emotional. They may become emotional maybe 10 years down the line. But at the moment, machines still don't understand emotions. Whereas, when you are dealing with things in life, you're dealing with people, and people are emotional beings. And so, people and human beings are better at dealing with human factors. So, building your emotional intelligence. One thing you need to understand is that when you buy, let's say, a product or a service, you don't just buy it for its features. Look at any product or service that you have bought. You buy it for the experience. You pay more for a Mercedes than for an Alto. Of course, if you have more features, but that extra premium is because it gives you a better experience. It's an aspirational thing. Understanding this human factor is something which is people are good at. So we need to build that emotional intelligence. Communication skills. It's not just verbal communication, like I'm doing with you. It is how to behave, your body language, your movement, change in your tone. All these are skills which you need to build and develop as people. Relationship skills. I've always believed that, as individuals, you have the ability to deliver a certain amount of output. But what is expected from you is far more than your individual capability. So how do you deliver more when your capability is only, let's say, X? The only way to do that is to get others to work for you. And how do you get others to work for you? You get others to work for you by building relationships. So relationship building, when you are in this program, very important for you to learn how to build relationships. And let me tell you, when you build a relationship, there are two things that you need to focus on. Number one is trust. The other is mutual respect. If you have trust and you have mutual respect, you have a relationship. If any one of these two elements are missing, whether it's a personal relationship or a business relationship, you don't have a relationship. So, how do you build trust? To build trust, again, there are two things you need to focus on. Number one is competence. People should think you're good at something. If you're good at nothing, you can't do that. But if you're good at something, even though it may not be an area in which the person is looking to you for, will respect you for being good at something. So, number one is competence. So be good at something. And the other is integrity or character. Demonstrate integrity in your character. People are watching. Okay, if you're cheating, they'll know you are a cheat. I can't trust you. Alright? And in today's world, everything is open. So focus on building competence, focus on building a strong character, that helps you build trust, have mutual respect for people you interact with, that will help you build relationships, and when you build relationships, that's the key to success in life. So I'm highlighting a few of these things because I just want you to appreciate that things that you learn in the institute are likely to become obsolete. Those are known as hard skills. Things that you learn in the classroom are hard skills. They're likely to get obsolete. On the other hand, things that you learn outside the classroom, critical thinking, relationship building, communication skills, creativity, these are things you learn outside the classroom. These become part of your personality, which are permanent. So for people to be successful, of course, you need to learn the hard skills, but it's more important to develop the soft skills. So with these thoughts, I'd like to wish you all the best in your program and a great future in your careers. Thank you.